ce serait bien crack. Ouais, c'est le jeu. Alors c'est parti pour Lotus Challenge 2003.
We're live now. Say hi, everybody.
You can't make me.
I can't. We are not physically in the. Uh-oh.
Oh, well, then that's, I want to
Discord.
wave to people.
Discord. Buddy, come on.
What's up, everybody? See, I didn't say hi. I said, what's up? What are you going to do about it?
I don't know. Apparently just break Discord entirely.
I enjoy breaking Discord. Did you... Let me know your webcam's still showing. For me, at least, not on the stream. I was going to say, did you open up Discord first?
Oh, there we go. Fixed it.
Oh my god.
It was being stupid in the fact that it wouldn't capture itself proper. It wouldn't let me capture it properly.
I like that. I like dumb things.
Welcome.
You start. You go. I think I did last week. You did this
Dungeons and Downloads. It's a time every Thursday. It's 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Atlantic. That's the time specifically. We talk about D&D. We talk about gaming / tech stuff too. We desperately need a theme song. So
we do need a theme song.
Send in your submissions now. Dungeons and Downloads podcast at gmail.com. That's a real email address. You could actually email that. Make us a theme song, guys. Do it.
Do it. Do it, you won't. Because, yeah, it'd be easier than trying to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
recaps this week. You got 2 to do.
I do. And you have 1 to do.
Are you going to do good ending or bad ending first?
We're gonna start with the good one.
The good ending? Okay.
So, yesterday we played... 2 days ago. Yesterday. No, it was yesterday because we did a Wednesday again this week.
Yeah.
We played the rest of Prisoner 13. And it went great. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughing. You guys succeeded. Just gonna cut straight to the point right there. You guys succeeded on your goal. Though it was a little bit rough, and you found out you had a rival series of thieves trying to get the same thing. You still succeeded after a terrible sleight of hand check by Prisoner 13 to conceal the papers as you walked into the room. You guys
what would have happened if we didn't see that?
I mean, I imagine you guys would have probably gone up to... You could have... I mean, the key... Spoiler alert. The key was a tattoo, so you could have gotten the key as well. It's just... You but people that were ahead of you.
Yeah, that seems like a mission failed kind of scenario, though.
Probably. You probably would have gone there and found there was no money in the vault, or less money in the vault than was expected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a bad side of hand check. I mean, I ended up rolling so many checks because I was like, they're gonna have to do a lot to make it so that you guys can't see it. And they ended up failing. Like Prisoner 13 tried to sleight of hand some papers away that you guys were supposed to get her, but the rivals already got her. And then there was a lot of suspicion. And then it broke out into a fight, which showcased that she could have probably easily taken out anyone one-on-one, but the 4 of you were able to... I think the only one that didn't go down was Hank. Because...
Yeah, I brought the other 2 up.
Didn't end up being able to do a lot anyway, so...
Yeah.
13 focus on everyone else. And yeah, no, it was a good fight. It was close. But you guys ended up subduing her. She honestly fought till unconscious because she thought there was no chance you guys would have killed her. Like, in her mind, there was no way that you were going to kill her, so she just wanted to fight.
What if we did?
You would have had no clue what the key was, and you would have searched you would have had literally no way of knowing, and you would have had to go back empty-handed. Because she hadn't even got a chance to tell the other crew what the key was.
That seems like more of a mission success than leaving early.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally both call those mission failures because you didn't have the key. And then the key, the vault can never be opened at that point.
Well, you never know. There might be an Arcana science sometime in the future that can tell them what it is, and maybe they can get in someday. The other way, the other people just win.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, you guys succeeded. We had a lot of really good jokes. It became a comedy, which is fine. I loved it. It was a good comedy session. A minor post-mortem. I wish that they told the party to either all go cooks or all go guards, because I feel like, especially for streaming purposes, that's kind of rough. It's also really hard as a DM to have to balance, to play that balancing act of how do I make all of my players feel like they're playing?
Well, the problem is there's literally nothing for cooks to do.
You guys actually ended up being like the people who saw the papers and everything. Yes, it's not like she has to hand the papers over or get the papers in the kitchen or in the mess hall. I decided that.
Yeah, you had to make that happen. But like in terms of things that like we can do, things happen to us and we have to react to them.
Reading the book, they expect you to go in with your disguises and then immediately break and stealth around the prison. Which is why I figured that out, because that's why there are no patrol routes, there are no guard duties, there is no book or anything like that in the book, because they expect the characters to consider that they are going in undercover and then they immediately break cover. Because there's a system that I never got to use, that if you are around, that I have to roll a die, depending on the suspicion level, the die gets smaller. If I roll a 1, a patrol spots you. Now, if you're guards, or if you're adhering to prison rules, that means nothing. But the book expects you to literally go in as a disguise and then drop the disguise immediately. And then just stealth around.
Typical wizards. Well, we were all like, okay, so there's cameras 24/7. Got it. So we can't break uniform.
I had no reason to think there wasn't. Like,
yeah.
I guess I could have said no, but that was so out of character for this prison.
Yeah.
But yes, like the entire time, I was trying to like kind of hint at the fact that you had rivals, because both of the guards were seeing that there were some things happening. There was some a note that passed between a couple of NPCs. Like there was a whole series of things that happened, just to kind of like hint at it. But by the time the note had passed, Greg, which was one of the bad people, the note essentially said that there was a failed attempt to get the documents, but Greg, who was actually the sneakier one, was going to try and get it. He got the documents then afterwards and then brought them back down. And then it passed hands again. It was.
I feel like the real problem was that we stuck to our guns so hard about doing our jobs.
Yeah.
Because like we didn't really have a chance to see them as rivals, because we're just like, oh, we don't want to be involved with the corrupt guards because we need to stay here and keep our jobs.
And I mean, that was just, it made sense when you described the prison that they would be pretty rigid as far as all that goes. And I completely can see from a player perspective not wanting to break your job. Like, you don't want to get in trouble and then get kicked out of the prison for some reason.
Yeah.
Or get thrown in jail in the prison for some reason. Like, you don't want those things to happen. So why would you sneak around the prison?
Especially when you can't really interact with the prisoners that much. No. Seemingly.
Well, no, because there's like, in the Panopticon, there are arrow slits looking every way around the center prison. There is no way. I think I told you this last week. There's a picture in the book that shows a player character talking to Prison 13 in her cell. And I don't, unless you are causing a distraction somewhere else, which is what the other group ended up doing. There was the first distraction where I made it a point that all of the guards were looking at everything except for Prisoner 13's cell. And then there were 2 guards that were at Prisoner 13's cell that I think Ross saw walking away and didn't quite... Either he put 2 and 2 together or he didn't quite put 2 and 2 together. But, like, I don't know. I don't know why players would just go in there and be like, yeah, I don't care what this guy's anymore. I'm gonna go sneak around.
That's a very typical Wizards pre-made, in my opinion. Because
Yeah.
like when you read it, it's kind of hard to visualize how it's gonna play out. But what you're reading is, okay, I have two paths to follow. And you're kind of reading the overarching story because you can't possibly prep for everything they're going to say. So you're trying to pick the most
Right.
likely routes, which is,
Yeah.
kind of what the book's probably going to be.
Right.
But you also assume that they're going to pick the main path.
And then they don't.
And then Wizards just writes nothing other than you can go this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can go this way. We're not going to tell you how, though.
Yeah.
But you can.
You can do it if you want, but we're not going to tell you how.
We don't recommend it, but we're just you could.
And that ends up being the most sensible route. Anyway, that was pretty much Prisoner 13. Next week and probably the week after, we're doing another heist that has to involve a rival thieves guild of sorts, which we will be talking more about on Tuesday when we go through it. You just gotta sneak into a thieves guild and it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I told the group already, and I mean it. Combat breaking out in this is a lot more scary than what happened before.
Was there another way to get the information other than fighter at the point that we were at?
Yeah, you can beat the other guys too. I mean, if you had given her the document, she would give you the information.
No, I mean
there was-
when we already lost that though, did we have to fight her?
I had no reason to... No, because she wouldn't have... She had no reason to give you the documents. I'm trying to think of any, like, legitimate reason that she would give you the documents.
Well, we didn't need the documents. We only needed them to give to her. But like, would she have given us the information about the key that we wanted without fighting her at that point, after she already got them from the other guys?
No, there's no... I was trying to think of a reason that she would give you the information, but she had no reason to.
Yeah.
You didn't do what she asked in
Yeah.
time, and that was it. Like, it's it. You could have... I mean, I guess if you guys were really scary, you might have been able to intimidation check her. But chances are an intimidation check would have just led into a fight. You can't charm her. She's immune to charm.
Ah, that's what it was.
They definitely did that on purpose. Because they knew that if you tried to get her in a courtyard, you literally could just charm person, ask about the key, and that's the end of the mission. Like, that would have been... That would have been the easiest thing around. That would have been... You just put a bard in that mission, and that's it.
That's also typical Wizards, though. I bet they were 50-50 on that.
Whether they'd allow it... I mean, like... You don't even feel good about doing that as a player. You just feel like you cheated, almost.
I know, but the Wizards would totally do that.
Yeah.
I'd say they had a 50-50 split and they went heads or tails.
Yeah, and they decided to make her immune.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I do like the fact that she had a reaction as opposed to a legendary action. Like, rather than give something that's challenge rating 5 a legendary action, just give her a reaction so that she has to use it up. And also, like, she doesn't have multiple of it. That was cool. She did... You guys did a lot of damage up front, and then you did, like, no damage for 2 rounds.
Yeah, I was too busy healing people.
Well, yeah, but also, she saved on all of your... I think she saved
Well, had
all
I
but one.
had I not been bonus action healing people, I would have used Shatter.
That would have been good.
But I was too busy bonus action healing wording people. So I could
I'm going
only
to start
use
doing
Hideous
that in my
Laughter.
campaigns going forward. I forgot that you're not supposed to be able to cast 2 spells in a turn. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a cantrip and a spell.
I just couldn't remember if you could do a cantrip. I knew you couldn't cast 2 spells.
Yeah, you can cantrip.
But
Cantrip's totally allowed.
I couldn't remember if cantrip was. But
Well, I mean, we have no casters anymore in the other campaigns, so it doesn't matter.
Dennis has
Anyway.
cleric.
Yeah, that's a level 1 cleric. Anyway, let's talk about Waterdeep first.
Yeah. So
Let's talk about the last hour of Waterdeep, because the rest of it.
we did some
Was
tavern
bookkeeping.
upgrades. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. When I said we just run the tavern, I thought they might take one, maybe two things, and that'll be it. They'll just pick stuff that they think will immediately
Estolia
be used.
likes tavern running, which
Yep.
I was fine with. I got to take a little bit of a break.
The reason I thought that though was because of how you guys had run it up to that point, and now you're at the end of where it's gonna be useful to you.
Yeah.
So I didn't figure you would choose then to do it.
Do we run it anymore? Like, should you talk to Estolia before tomorrow's session?
I did mention it at the end of last session, but I am going to talk to them before we play tomorrow.
Because they're the ones that end up running the tavern because they like it, and I think they do a great job, and I like money, so I just kind of sit back and let it happen.
Like you're not going to be able to run it in Dungeon of the Mad Mage, but you might be. We can potentially just roll money over and over again.
Can we set up a carrier pigeon?
Well, I'm gonna look into if there's
that
any
comes down
way.
for Dungeon of the Mad Mage or something like that.
I'm gonna look into whether or not there's gonna be a way to have amounts of money funneled down if you order it ahead of time, kind of thing.
I like that.
And then just like every 10 day, we just roll. And once you go down the dungeon, you hire a manager, and you don't get to run the tavern till you come back. But you could
If we come back.
If you come back. So that's how I'm going to handle that. So it could potentially be passive income, or it could be losing you money the whole time. You'll be able to hire a bookkeeper for an extra cost to see the balance. But like, there's going to be costs to trying to keep tabs on the tavern, basically.
True.
The more you guys try to do, the more it's going to cost, which is going to make it less worth it.
Very true.
So there'll be a bit of a balancing act there. But you guys ran the tavern for about half the session. And then the other half of the session, we started a one-shot that takes place during Dragon Heist. It's actually written to be in this campaign is like a time shifter, I guess, to advance time.
Where I feel like you could tell everyone was like, okay, let's do stuff, and that was good timing. Like it was fun. I'm enjoying this one shot so far.
The one shot's called Volo's Guide to Getting Murdered.
Yeah.
And
he's dead.
He's dead, and you
And it
guys
sounds like there's a lot of different ways he could die. And
Yeah.
different story plot points, which is cool.
So what they did was they set it up so that there's a main villain in every season, but they made it so that it's not the same season as Waterdeep. So in this case, the Zent storyline, or one that's supposed to line up with the Manchun storyline, actually happens in the fall instead of winter.
Which is like our lead up, rather than having to just sit there and wait till winter, we get to do a one shot.
Yeah, which will, it'll tie into some stuff.
Yeah.
So they were smart that way, because if they made it match the same season, then you couldn't really use it in the same capacity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like the only way you're going to need a supplement to this module is if you need to pass time.
Right. No, I'm like, it's been fun. It's a murder mystery.
Yeah, you guys got up to...
We
Did you
found
guys
the
know
guy
who it
who was
is?
at least dealing with the Zents, which is my thought for who it actually is, because then Rouse was up on the top floor and heard something about someone saying his name. Like, we're pretty sure that the dude who just kind of shrugged us off is the bad guy.
Oh,
Forget
yes.
the name.
Yes. So what Rouse heard was that he was
last seen leaving the room.
He was last seen out the window that looks into that window with a half-orc with a giant longbow.
Yeah. So, like, he did bad stuff. He obviously did bad stuff.
And you guys were downstairs talking to him while Estolia was upstairs getting that information. So he just told you guys, like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There'll be some... I still can't insight check because I could, but it's bad. I don't want to be the person. I'm really good at helping. I found out that I'm very good as a character to give other people advantage. That is my job in that campaign.
You're a literal meatbag.
I am a meatbag. I take hits and I give people advantage on ability checks.
You're the familiar that takes the help action.
Yeah, no, I literally like walk around with
You
people
should start
and I take
doing-
their lead.
Start doing that in combat. Take the help action.
No, I at least have the ability to get Divine Smite off, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that. But I literally follow people, and when they do something, I say a line or something that Goofy would say that sounds like he's helping. That's my goal. If someone's trying to persuade, and it's not me, because Goofy can persuade, but if it's someone else, I'll try and throw something else in there. If someone's intimidating, I'll be like, try to be menacing. Like I literally am just sitting there following people around and helping them do stuff.
He's a true goof.
Literally, like my job is to be the Goofy from Kingdom Hearts. I'm a side character. That's it. But yeah, no, like I feel like once we got into that, everyone started to get more into it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we decided that taverns are going to be probably ran mostly outside of the session itself.
Yeah.
Because it's a very complicated thing. And I just didn't have the brain power when we got to it.
Yeah. Well, like,
I couldn't do it.
when I saw like how long the whole campaign was, I was like, yeah, I'll just give them these updates and they'll pick like the one or two that they want, and
Yeah.
their
And then
their taverns customized.
Every week we were looking at upgrades. Every single week, exactly what we wanted to upgrade. And yeah, that was a thing. I think it was the end of the session definitely got me back into it. I forgot what even happened at the beginning. We did something. We did a little bit of something before we went to the tavern.
You talked to Vajra about Manchun.
That's right. We were trying to find leads. That was our goal.
Yeah.
Because we still don't actually have a lead on what Manchun is doing. And I actually still have no clue how to find that lead.
That's part of what you're gonna get out of this.
Okay, to actually have an idea.
You're gonna get direction from this.
I enjoy that. This is the thing that this campaign's been lacking the most.
Oh,
I was talking to Gandalf about that the other day, and it's like, this is a good campaign, it just lacks direction because what we did, sure. But it still has the possibility to lack direction.
yes. Yes, it does. Like I said, typical wizards. There's multiple ways to do this. You could go that way. I don't know how you do it, but like you could.
But you could.
Yeah, like we want them to say yes, but they could say no, and you'll just have to write stuff if that happens.
Yeah.
You only paid $40 for this, bro. Like, if you want more content, we're gonna make you pay. And last time we said we'd make you pay OGL.
Yeah.
So they don't actually have choice. They have the illusion of choice. Unless
I mean, we still choose. It's just the dungeon master has to go like through hoops to let us choose.
that's the only thing I dislike about pre-mades is how easy they look to run on
And then they're
paper.
not. Out of the Abyss you have not gone off of the rails. It's just hard to run. It looked hard to run on paper, though, is the thing. And it still looks hard to run on paper for the rest of the campaign. Maybe that's why it's been easy to run, or easier to run, is because it looks hard.
Yeah. Because, like, I read the Waterdeep one and I was like, oh, yeah, so as soon as they pick a villain, that's it. And then it was like a week before we started, and I was like, wait a minute. Well, what season is it when we start? They haven't picked a villain yet. Because it's all tied to the season.
Yeah, and then you had to pick a random season, which ended up being the opposite from where we picked the villain. Like, our villain was the opposite.
The only reason I picked that one is because to see a story point that would be important if they are the villain only happens in summer. So if you picked them,
It had to be the only, in summer.
there
Got it.
was an important thing if you picked them.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I want to leave them all the options.
Right.
But I guess I never really thought, like, even if I picked fall and it was them, you could just loop back around to summer.
Yeah, I mean, that is made to potentially be run for over a year,
Yeah.
if necessary. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happened in Waterdeep. It was the beginning of a murder mystery, and the plot's kind of coming to a head.
It is when we're almost on the last couple of sessions. The plot is finally being known to the players. I suddenly have some idea of what I should be doing and not just flailing around in the dark.
I felt like this was a fun way to introduce like a lore dump PC.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like there's a lore dump PC that you're not gonna be able to really get around. You're gonna
That's fine.
I mean, you could potentially get into a locked room with them and then just be like, "We don't want to talk to you," and turn your back, and that's fine, I guess. But like,
It's like, shut up.
there's gonna be a person who's willing to spill their guts to you at some point, no matter what you ask.
That's good.
And they're just gonna lore dump all the stuff you probably should need to know.
I like that. I'll take it. At this point, I'll take it. Because there was no way for you to do that,
All the stuff you missed out on by not doing
the
those
word?
dungeons.
organically. There was no way for you to give that to us organically, really.
No, it was
'Cause
hidden.
we skipped it.
It was
Yeah.
hidden in the dungeons and like nuances and things that happened in the wrong
I mean,
order.
this is a wizard's module, so they expect you to enter every room and say, "I want to make a perception check."
I mean,
remember with
yes
Strahd,
and no.
I feel like there was every single room.
There was something.
If a character makes a perception check, and it wasn't even always something good. It was like, oh, the perception check. You see, there's an old moldy shield on the wall you can't use, but they have to do a perception 11 to be able to see that. It's like, why?
It's not quite like that, but it's
I mean, it is wizards, so they expect you to do a lot more, like search the desk, search this, do that, do.
There's
the
an
other thing.
element to that, but like also allowing Bloon to be, or Rainier to be on the outside window so you could just like break it and steal him was really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, he was in a bad spot. If he was in the center of the warehouse, that would make more sense. But being in the outside window, it's like, oh, he's there. Let's just go in.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then you guys missed, that was like the first dungeon. Then you guys just happened to go the right way in the Xanathar dungeon first try and just walk
So
out.
we missed any lore dump there. Yeah, we went the right way perfectly.
Yeah. And
That was
then
it.
because the nimble right stuff happened in the backwards order, like that part just didn't make any sense at all because you did the first thing, the third thing, then the middle thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it made sense though. We know there's a bad guy. We know there's a bad nimble right. We're gonna hunt him down.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you guys necessarily did anything wrong, but like that's
And then we went to the villa that we were supposed to go to second.
yeah. Cause like the nimble right was supposed to leave with something and you were supposed to chase it down then and get something and then go to Thrakus. Like
We didn't do that.
yeah. It was it's been in, like I said, like yeah, they can pick you can pick the starting season and they can pick any villain they want. Never mind that every description we're going to give, we're only going to reference it as if it's that season.
Yeah.
And
That's
all
fine.
the encounters are different in every season, so you can't just use the summer encounter in the winter because it's completely different stuff. It's not the same at all.
Like that one poor kid falling through the water, jumping into the water.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
As
playing
opposed
on
to
the
being on a
ice.
frozen lake, yeah. Squidly.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I don't know, I just fell into the water.
But
I was floating on it 1 second, and the other second I was just underneath it.
he's like, I thought I could jump and grab the cliff. I was wrong.
Idiot.
But yeah, you guys are gonna get a lore dump, and then you guys will know why and where and how to do whatever.
I like those answers.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm excited that's tomorrow. Make sure to tune in.
Yeah.
Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Getting
It's the
close
end.
to the end of it.
We're finishing it tomorrow.
Nah.
We're finishing it tomorrow.
No.
We might.
You don't even know how to get into the vault yet.
Do you want to know how we're finishing it tomorrow?
How?
I'm jumping
TPK?
down the pit in the. I'm jumping down the pit in the yawning portal. We're going to the Underdark. We're skipping right down to the Mad Mage.
You know what? Let him fight over the vault. I'm
We're
going,
going down.
Yeah.
We're going to the Underdark. No one cares about what happens on the surface when we're in the Underdark.
Yeah. But that's all a water deep.
It. So then we have the end of time. That's it. That's all that happened. Everyone died. TPK.
The end of time.
So yeah, you guys did the end of time. You literally spent, I mean, expectably like an hour and a half fighting the shadow.
Was it that long?
It felt like it, man.
Yeah.
Like it was a long ass fight. There's a lot of shit that happened. So you guys started the combat by deciding, understandably, that you didn't want to side with the shadow. He had, I believe, 25 hit points to start, and then had his mythic action trigger. So that was the start of that. You guys got that in a couple swings. His mythic action was Darkness Sphere, which was negated by one of the player's glowing swords. Partially. I gave it like 5 feet, so it looked a little bit weird, but it worked out. And yeah, for anyone who wasn't watching and was curious, Gruzik did decide to attack the shadow.
Yeah,
He decided to become a hero.
he turned out to have way more backstory than I thought he did.
Right? And you're going to get to learn more about that is the thing. I'm very
I'm not
excited
gonna
for
lie, I
the 2
thought
weeks.
Fayevel half-assed that guy so hard. He's just like, yeah, I'm a mercenary and the shadow, and haha, that's easy. He had lore, man. I didn't
had
even know.
Dude has lore.
Dude has
Dude.
lore.
Has lore. So yeah, you guys got into a really long, drawn out fight where, like, your sorcerer took so much damage when it came down.
He was MVP.
So everything starts out, the shadow's attacking things like normal. The shadow goes to do his big old spell, and then it gets counterspelled. So he gets pissed. And then everything just goes at Trinix. And the group has so many heals and healing potions. It was just like, down Trinix. Okay, we're going to heal him. Down him again. Okay, greater healing potion down his throat. Down him again. And it just was constantly up and down, up and down. He counterspelled Scatter is what the spell is. Once. I think he ended up failing 2 counter spells, but he got heals off and he absorbed a ton of damage. So
Yeah,
it ended up
he did good.
He did so much work that fight. And then what ended up happening near the end of the fight is he did end up getting Scatter off because Trinix was down. Well, not dead, but like down. He ended up doing Scatter, and then he ended up doing, which we're going to go over later, a very popular point of contention in one of my players in my group. He double tapped Trinix because he has a bonus action to do a multi-attack too with the sword. So Trinix was down, and then he got killed. I've ran through that fight so many times in my head because we'll go over it. if that didn't happen, then no one was dying. It would have literally just been, and he's back up. Oh, and he's back up again. Oh, he's going to counterspell, and he's back up. So literally, that villain's one out to that fight to make it so it had any impact at all was to kill. So he did it. And then after the scatter, pretty much everyone except for Gruzik could get back to the shadow because everyone has a lot of movement. And Mega succeeded. He crit the save.
Yeah.
Which he pretty much, the DC is 20, so he pretty much had to crit in order to succeed. And he crit it, so he stayed by and just kept pumping out damage. Like, he had, I think, around 300 hit points after his mythic action. And you guys just pumped out so much damage. And then and then Crealis came back in with not a lot of health, flew right into the shadow, did some damage, and the next turn, the shadow, I forget what the main damage dealing. Oh, I thought it was the shadow ended up taking her down with a legendary action Firebolt. On his turn, he blighted Deniz, knocked him unconscious, and then double tapped Crealis, which we'll get back to that because that was a point of contention in my group afterwards. On one person specifically. He double taps Crealis. Crealis dies right there. And he looks at Mega and is like, you can't save anyone. You're useless. And then it ends up happening that Gruzik ends up getting the last hit. After all of that, he comes back in for a last hit, cleaves the shadow in half, and the shadow dies. After that, we had a very heartfelt little moment where Mega was going to go take... Well, essentially, FaZe was able to use her FaZe ability to get you guys over to Mega's farm. Mega put both Trinix and Crealis in... I don't know if he had a family crypt. I don't know why he had a crypt at his farm. I wasn't going to question it. I was like, good go. You have whatever you want, buddy.
You're driving this plot.
Yeah, you can do your thing. So that happened, and then he went up to go have dinner. And then the thing that I had revealed to two of my players, one of which couldn't play anymore due to personal things, and one of which doesn't want to play anymore and will be out for the rest, was finally revealed to two people that would actually talk. So there was a large lore dump that should have been about half that size, because Crealis and Kiva knew about half that information, and half of it was withheld to prevent the shadow from knowing too much. So there was a big old lore dump about everything that happened. There was a big old, like, a quest set up. They were essentially given instructions of what to do after Asmodean is dead in order to make sure everything's the best possible way it can be when the end of time happens. They were given instructions on how to save a good chunk of people as well, because it turned out like there was a thing I introduced really early on that certain dragons knew a spell to split themselves into three aspects: knowledge, strength, and then I think Xavier's was his kindness, and it turns out that Shadow's was his charisma. So this was all the knowledge, because I was trying to show that the Shadow wasn't inherently a bad person until a certain point. This was his knowledge. He said he was very sorry multiple times. He realized that, you know, the knowledge hadn't done any of that, but that was a part of him that had created the destruction it had. And so he went through that. There was a big old lore dump. And then the next morning happened, that night happened, and Dennis shared a little bit with Mega, and then the next morning happened, and he shared more. Essentially, the group is now going to go hop portals in a certain way so that they end up reaching Asmodean, which is their end goal, to 1 minute in the future. Because the way time flows and the way the different universes work, they can hop portals until they get to Asmodean, I believe the knowledge said something about him being protected at the moment, so you had to get through that protection, and this portal would pop you next to him. So they did that. They had a medallion. They said the word Kronos, and then it all kind of got kicked off. They met the Titan of Time himself, the creator of the first dragons, who was sitting at his desk reading papers. In a realm. And he just kind of went over. He did the whole, like... He played the whole, like, thing that doesn't realize what timeline you're in trope, kind of like reading the papers and being like, you're in the okay.
When are you from?
Yeah, the whole when are you from thing. And then sent you on your journey to go find friends. And you went and you met Simon, and that was the easiest persuasion I've ever seen to get someone to stop their quest and join you guys.
I don't remember what we said.
Doesn't matter. He rolled terrible on insight. You lied about something, like, "Oh, sure, your world will be fine," or something like that. Everything's gonna be okay. He rolled such low insight. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll help."
Yeah, I think I was like, "Our thing's only gonna take like a minute."
Yeah,
you'll be right back.
You'll be right back.
It'll be like you never left.
He rolled like, I don't remember. It was such a low insight to, I think it was like Mega's deception. So it was a negative, I believe, on or a low on the deception check, and he just rolled to low on insight. And he has high insight. Like, that character's got good insight. And it's just like, sure, okay, I have no reason not to trust you guys.
You just jumped in here through a portal. That's fucked up. Why would I not believe you?
I did say, so I made a minor retcon. I thought we were going to be picking up another character, so I said you guys went through a portal once you realized night was happening. That portal never actually technically appeared, because you're not looking for any other friends.
But that's what we're doing, though. We're jumping through portals.
You are jumping through portals. Yeah, no, I was saying, like, too, if anyone had caught the stream, at the end of it, I did say you guys went through. That's not actually true anymore. The portal hadn't appeared, and it is a horrible night for a curse.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, you guys are going to have to do things. Those two were supposed to be quick portals to get friends and then leave, but you already got your friend. You're good.
Yeah, we only need...
You only need one.
I've convinced him he's only going to be gone for, like, 10 minutes.
You'll clean up whatever's happening at night, go through a portal that'll appear, and then you'll be on your way. You'll be fine. You guys you'll have a new friend, and you'll be...
Time will work the same for you, buddy. And when we get back to our portal, only 1 minute will have passed. So when you get back to yours, it'll be same dealio.
You have no clue if that's true.
I have no reason to doubt it. That's how it works for me.
But yeah, so that was the end of time. You guys are set. I'm excited for the next series of sessions. My goal in the road to Asmodean is to build up a little bit more character connection, since I feel like that's been lacking for the past couple of months. Just because we've been kind of just doing that end game thing, and we've been losing a player here, doing another thing here, a new player comes in here, and there just hasn't been as much of that.
I think what kind of happened is Spaguglio and Kiva were like party faces who went out and talked constantly and like pulled everybody else into things.
And that just...
And then Spaguglio died, and then Kiva left, and then we had nobody to like pull the rest of us in to be like, hey, like, what's your life?
What do you do? Yeah, what's your life?
Or like, why should I care about you? As Spaguglio would say. Why should I care about you? Why do you care about me? And like, just make that a deal and a big point. So after...
And I see little bits and pieces of people connecting. Like, it happened with Praxis, who sadly died. Like, Praxis and Mega were having a good bond. Like, there was a couple things that just...
Yeah.
You see it come through here and there, which is really cool. And I also feel like just people feel like, well, it's the end, so let's just get this over with. But since time flows the way it does, we're going to have a really chill...
I feel
two
like...
levels. You guys are going to be 14 when you fight Asmodean, so I have to get you through 2 levels of content.
So, I think what you should let the party know, and it might help form bonds, is whether or not Asmodean is the end of this campaign or not.
I actually wanted to leave it up to you guys. I was going to say yes, and you guys can do some rolls as far as if, like, what the divining rods are, or you guys could play out the epilogue. So technically there could be stuff if you want to fully play it out, or I could just have you guys do some rolls and then set up the next world. I'm totally cool with you guys fully playing out the epilogue after Asmodean and like having to find the divining rods and then setting up the ley lines and then doing all that kind of stuff. But if you guys would like to move on and be like Asmodean is the last boss encounter, because he is the last boss, I'd be cool with just saying, okay, after Asmodean, just have you guys do some rolls and whatnot to see how successful you were and exactly what state the next world is in.
Because I feel like that'll play a big part into how much we actually end up relating to each other.
Oh, so you guys are level 12. Now, 12 to 13 and 13 to 14 are a rather large jump.
Yep.
There's a good amount of campaign left to get you to 14.
That's what I mean.
You're curious.
That's what I mean.
There's a good amount of campaign left to get you to 14.
Like, I feel like a time frame would be like a good idea to just be like, hey, like, you know, just so you guys know, like, these aren't necessarily we're not like 2 sessions away from the end kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I can do that. You're definitely not just 2 sessions away from the end. You are set for quite some time. I don't think that we're going to make it to the end of the year like I originally said, but it's not that far off.
Yeah, so we got like 7 months.
Yeah. Let's say you have roughly 7 months of sessions left, which is like 14 sessions. We're going to be running a lot of things, a lot of different worlds and whatnot. And also there's going to be some time in between. They'll be back to some more RP and stuff like that. There'll be a little extra lore. Like, it's not just going to be straight up. It's not going to be just going through portals and that's it. There may or may not be a form of hub.
God,
for the portals.
There better be a Kung Fu Panda hub.
Well, I mean, there's going to be... It's more... I don't know... You watch the Castlevania show, right? It's more similar to the Endless Corridor type hub. How there's like a corridor.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just mean there better be a portal that leads to a Kung Fu Panda world. I mean,
that's definitely possible.
Then
so
I can meet Master Oogway and be like, oh my god!
I'm not going to lie. I haven't set up every world you go to. I plan on kind of getting a gauge as far as how much fun you guys are having in each world and then running from there and deciding the exact length based off of that. I have a few set up and I'm going to set up more and more because I think it's going to be fun. Doing different stuff.
One thing I would come up with quickly, if you don't already have it, is why are we taking this route specifically?
Oh, that's already, yeah. You're good.
Okay. Because, like, why wouldn't we go the quickest route there? Like, in the minds of the heroes in the set, like, as characters, like, why wouldn't we just go right there?
You're good. There's reasons.
Okay. Good.
No, like, I understand that you guys would just go for it, but there's reasons. And they'll all become more apparent in the hub.
Yeah, that recap is a good automatic segue into the first topic.
Player death. It happens. That is all.
Sometimes they just gotta go.
Yeah, we had a couple player deaths, and it was actually the exact mirror. Like, it was the exact opposite reaction. One of them already had a character ready to go. It was probably a little bit sad for his character, and, you know, it was sudden. It was definitely sudden death. He got double tapped when he was down. That was it. And the other one was not very happy with what happened. And that is why we are down to 4 players now, as opposed to the 5. So,
and at 1.6.
At 1.6. Well, I don't fault the 6th person because
no, but I'm just saying,
had real life stuff.
Total numbers, though. Total numbers.
I am happy that I added 2 people to the campaign at that point because we'd be down to 3. Because I do not think this player would have taken into account that we would have been less than 4 players and then stuck around. I'm pretty sure it would have just been we are down to 3.
Yep.
But yeah, so I had a situation. Rufus, I'm curious of your thoughts. Should you ever attack a down PC?
Yeah. Yes.
You did it in Horde of, why am I asking this? You did this in Horde of the Dragon Queen. I think you double tapped 2 of us.
Yeah.
It's just like, hell, you're dead. And it is, I'll agree with the person. It is sudden and it feels bad at first because you're like, well, I'm just dead.
Cal,
But
it literally happened to you.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm asking you this question. You literally did this.
I did it to you.
It's the same thought as being crit full health killed. Like, that also happened to me.
I was just about to ask, how does it feel in comparison to the crit kill?
The same. It feels exactly the same. And that's like,
You know
both
what?
of those are mechanics written in D&D.
You know what though? I feel like that's a good thing that they feel the same. You don't feel personally attacked by that.
I don't feel personally attacked by either of those. I feel like, okay, that's life. So said, essentially, I don't know. If you end up getting killed by your DM and you feel like you're not having fun anymore afterwards because you're very attached to the character, just say so. D&D is about having fun. Do that. Let your DM know, I don't want to continue anymore. Good luck on the rest of your game. Goodbye. Don't tell them everything they've done wrong up to that point and then leave. Just leave quietly. That's it. That's all you need to do. People die in D&D. People get hit when they're down. It happens, especially if you run into the big bad with less health when he had already double tapped someone.
So, to put this in perspective, I'm pretty sure everyone else in the campaign had another character roll.
I don't know if Mega had a character roll, but he rolled stats at least. I saw him roll stats.
Yeah, everyone was thinking about it.
So we all thought death was the thing. The
Yeah.
big issue from this person was that they didn't get to roll a death save.
So?
And it's like, yeah, it feels sudden. And it can feel a little bit like crap. But then you're like, I ran towards the big boss with not a lot of health. I already saw him double tap someone. So he's going to do it again to me, probably. So I'm risking my own life here.
I didn't understand why. Like, when it happened, I was like, wow, that's sudden. Wow, that's surprising. Remember when he did it to me?
No, that's fine. Julio dying and also Praxis getting hit. Praxis did get to roll a death save. Praxis rolled the death save.
Spaguglia, hold on.
Crit failed critted a disadvantage death save.
Yeah, I crit a death save.
Oh, did he double tap you the second time?
Yeah, I came up and then he double tapped me.
Yeah, which is sudden and it's unfortunate. And it
So
happens.
like, don't tell me that you didn't think he was gonna do that. Of course he was gonna do that.
And okay, I thought about it and like, you have a bow. Yes, it's dark, but you can make disadvantage attack. If you're that afraid of dying, just stay back. You have the ability to stay back. If you had made the argument too that your blink sword is what makes the arrows magical, that I would say they have light on them. Maybe I would take away the disadvantage. I would have given that to you. But
I mean, I could have casted light on him.
Why didn't you do that?
Because we were fine!
That's true. That was actually the one thing I was scared about with Praxis dying, is Praxis is like the counter shadow. Praxis has multiple ways of casting light and stuff like that.
I thought we were fine, because like Crealis, I don't think verbalized that she was low on health.
Yeah, and then she got firebolted. We had a couple back and forth on rules as well during that one. I admit that I forgot that the spell attack was within 5 feet disadvantage, which is a rule. I don't think I played that earlier in the campaign, but it should be a rule.
But it was consistent. That's the thing.
Consistent.
It was a consistent ruling. It wasn't biased to anyone. That's just how it was being done.
It wasn't personally attacked or biased to anyone. I also didn't like the fact that, like, I get that Trinix was not a min-max sorcerer, but I don't know why this player decided they wanted to, like, call well, you have no AC, you should have con, this is this. It's like, come on. It's just, he made a character. Trinix is a great character. He does a lot of stuff.
But also didn't...
Yeah, he's squishy, but, like, please, stop.
They didn't seem too upset that that Trinix got double tapped. Or
We got a little
Praxis.
bit quiet after that. No.
Or Spaguglio.
Suglio is the most egregious thing I've ever done in my life. Crit succeed on a save and then dead. Just straight up dead.
I knew I was dead already. I had Dennis
You had
roll.
the character ready to go. Like we
Yeah.
had talked about this. We had to talk. This is another talk we had about player death. Actually, was on this podcast. We were
Yeah.
talking about talk to your players ahead of time. I did it again. I talked to my players ahead of time, saying someone's going
true.
to die. I actually said in character as the
More
shadow,
than one
if
people's-
you fight me, some of you will die. Like the shadow said the words, if you fight me, some of you will die. Not all. You probably will kill me, but some of you will die. I was very fair about letting people know that. And I do think that it is totally... Toad was ready. Yeah. Oh no, Favel had Toad ready. Favel was going to play Toad as a monk. The two people with the most fleshed... Well, actually, I guess Trinix also... Trinix, Favel and you had the most fleshed out characters ready to go. And only one of the three of you ended up dying and having to use the fleshed out character.
Yeah, I was gonna
like-
play Francis from Left 4 Dead, and I was just gonna be like, "Oh, I hate that! Oh, this is terrible!
Just all Francis lines.
Start the generator!"
It was gonna be great. But yeah, so like, I guess actually, I mean, I understand the players have different perspectives on deaths of a character. Like, I feel like most of our group, especially because Mega played in 1E, like he probably has ideas for extra characters just kind of ready to go because you don't survive no matter where you are in 1E. And everyone was like ready to go into their character, but the one person who didn't roll up a new character was the one person who was the person on the left.
I think they fell for plot armor. I think they thought
Yeah,
they were plot armored.
I don't like the idea. Oh, one of the bullet points that was given to me was that the DM should always play towards the player advantage. And I gave the player
No.
reasonable advantage. I did give reasonable advantage. That
No, I
Blink
mean,
Sword
I
was
just
out of
don't,
my
I
mind.
just don't believe that.
I agree with you. And it's one of those things where I didn't think about the Blink Sword, so I gave it to you guys. Okay, you guys removed this advantage. That'd probably be a little bit too rude. Okay. If you had done the whole arrow thing, I would have given it to you. That's fine. I did end up rolling the disadvantage fireball on Trinix, the last one that it rolled, because, you know, whatever. That makes sense. It still hit because Trinix has an 11 AC.
And that would have
I-
only bought him like
I
one
do
turn.
give you guys most rulings. If you make an argument for it, I try and be like, yeah, sure. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try and kill
Yeah.
you if the NPC is a highly intelligent NPC that wants to win a battle.
But, like, I don't think anything should be biased towards the players. The rules already are.
They are very biased towards the player,
The rules themselves are biased towards the players, and
especially one D&D rules.
so, like, I think you just make things even and then allow them to get advantage. Like, have ways for them to excel at what they're doing and get an easy route, and have ways for them to fail and have a harder route. You know, that's D&D. So, like, I don't know what to say.
I mean, I will cap it off by saying I understand people have different perspectives. Just also realize that though you may have a different perspective, you don't need to give bullet points to your DM as you're leaving as to why they were doing wrong things. They are your perspectives. And I respect that they have those respective perspectives, but I don't need to know why I was wrong for the last couple of sessions, apparently. So
If your feedback isn't
be
like,
respectful is all I'm saying. The feedback didn't change anything because it's not how I play D&D and it's a different perspective. And I already knew that they had a different perspective on this and that chances are they were going to quit. I sent them a message at the end of the night. I said, like, I think all DMs should, if someone feels really sad about dying, be like, hey, you're more than welcome to roll up a new character. We would love you to. I do completely understand if you don't want to roll up a new character. We will all miss you. We will be sad. I believe I also put in there, I know that it seems that we have different perspectives on how to run a boss character or a highly intelligent character. And then the next morning when I was driving when I got back from wherever I was driving from, I was met with 3 bullet points on the everything I had done wrong. As opposed to just, I'm going to leave the campaign because we have different perspectives. Thank you for at least having me for the period of time you did. They did say thank you, and that they enjoyed parts of it. But yeah.
The problem was
DM.
The problem was 2 players were playing a completely different game than the other players, and then when the other player left, there was no one to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened because Kiva was one of the party faces.
Yeah, there were 2 party faces.
That could allow for 2 storylines to happen. But after that, there was only one storyline.
Yes. But you know, like I told Rufus before, the side story would come out at some point, and I would make sure of it. There were fail safes in case it didn't get to the party. The whole, not the side story, but the main plot of the story that hadn't been told.
The main plot, which was actually a side plot in comparison to what they'd actually done.
I really wonder how things would have turned out if Crealis had immediately been like, hey, so this thing we're trying to prevent actually isn't preventable.
Like, why would
as she goes into the camp.
Why would we have, like... We could have gone a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Knowing the information before we got there could have gone a long way.
Yeah. And, like, you still would have wanted to kill the Shadow because the information that she had was that if you killed the Shadow, the informant would tell you more into making a better world. Like, essentially, the whole point was to shift the goal. The thing you're trying to prevent the entire time is impossible, but you can make the outcome the best possible outcome for future generations. And that chances are it's not going to happen during your lifetime anyway. So if you guys were like, well, I'm going to die anyway, it's like, that's not true. You're still going to be alive. So that was the whole thing, would have changed that entire perspective going into things. And then I feel like you also might have had a little less monologue with the Shadow.
There would have been a lot less monologue. There would have been a lot less time for someone to sneak up and start the fight like that.
Yeah, you guys probably would have been better positioning. Because you would have just been like...
Well, not even the positioning, but like... We wouldn't have gone in there with a decision to make.
It would have been made already.
Yeah, we would have just known what we were doing. And the fight would have been completely different.
It might have been easier. I still think that at least one person would have died, but you would have had better...
We would have shut down that 3rd Soul Engine.
Yeah. The Soul Engine didn't make him more powerful.
I thought clearing the rooms that we didn't do would have made him weaker.
No, the reason he was weaker... He said that the Soul Engines did their job already. And that they meant nothing at that point.
Yeah, but like when
that was part of the test.
When we cleared the rooms, though, I thought you said that also directly influenced his power. So what if we'd have pulled all 3 switches?
Oh, I mean, something would happen later on. You'll witness some effects later on from having that. But as far as the fight with the Shadow,
It was always going to be that fight?
Well, it was going to be... He actually... Depending on how quick you did things, actually depended on how weak he was when you got there. Because he was in a fight already. The reason he was weak is because he was in a big fight.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we should have known before going in there. If only one of the 2 people in our party who knew would have told us.
One of them didn't play till after that at all.
I know, but... Yeah,
And the other one was just too shy.
I think it made a big difference, though. I think that would have made a huge difference.
I agree.
Because maybe we would have agreed and sided with them.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. So the only reason that you would have sided with him after that information is if you thought the informant was lying in some way?
Or we were, well,
Because
no,
the
like,
whole reason Crialis even attacked him was because the informant said that they shouldn't side with the Shadow. Like, that they should hear the informant out, which is the Shadow's knowledge had said, you know, the Shadow has become too corrupt, you have to deal with him and then hear me out afterwards.
yeah, like,
He said that, I mean, he said that again to you guys in the cave, essentially, that, like, he had become too corrupt, thank you for dealing with him, and then...
yeah, but like, had we decided to be the rulers of the new world,
You could have done that.
had we
That would have been
decided, like,
almost the end of the campaign.
we might have decided to do that had we known earlier.
Yeah, potentially. That could have changed exactly how that goes. That's a perfectly viable... I mean, I don't think I'm never going to make this into an actual campaign because I don't have... There was too much thinking on my toes to actually, like, go back and write the whole module. But there's too much of that improv. But if there was, that would be a full-on other decision. I don't know where I would have put the Shadow's knowledge. I feel like the whole entire point that the Shadow said is that this was all a huge test to make sure you guys were, like, mentally prepared and morally just. Everything that had happened to you up until that point. So I don't know where the knowledge would have stepped in and be like, hey, here's what's actually happening. I just decided it's going to be whoever decides that they want to put down their sword first. Or not even that, but like if Mega had... I thought it was going to be Mega. I thought he was going to like have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I was this close to having the knowledge appear in that field where both Crialis and Mega just kind of sat down and were like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. But then it didn't happen. I decided it wasn't yet. It wasn't time yet. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways that can have happened. There's a lot of different ways that this campaign... Pretty much... The beginning of the campaign feels very... I feel like it didn't feel... It felt like linear, but there was like circles you could go around. You could have gone the other way around to do stuff. There was the big split in backstories that happened. But it's supposed to be very guided because you are literally being guided by the Shadow to do these tests. Which is really funny when Dennis was like, what if we just don't go do the portals at all? It's like, I was sitting here like, sure, you don't really have to. Turns out he was right.
God
Like-
damn it, what's with my characters and just guessing the freaking thing we gotta do?
Yeah. You guys could have been like, if you had somehow found a way to prove that, then you could have just gone right for the Shadow. We would have been a little bit less prepared. You also might have dealt with Asmodean at the same time, so it might have ended in a TPK. But, because Asmodean went to do a specific thing that you'll learn more about, which is why he wasn't there. We have so many things to learn. I'm very excited for the next couple of parts.
I feel like somebody
And-
could have been on watch for Asmodean. Like, we could have had spies, and if they saw him
Could have.
outside of the castle, we could have gone.
Yeah, you probably could have like waited for him to patrol out for some reason, and you would have been
Yeah.
more prepared. And there could have been other ways of doing that for sure. There was a lot of, if for any reason, if it was written in the module, if for any reason the players figure out that this whole entire thing was laid out for them, just let him go right to the Shadow. It's fine.
If
They
the
might
pl-
die because they'll be underleveled, but let them do it. That's what they want to do.
If the players choose to do the main story, here's what it would be. If they don't, figure it out.
They could have at any time chose not to do the main story. If somehow, I don't know how, maybe there was a clairvoyance spell, or who knows what happens, that you figured out that you guys didn't have to do anything that was happening, that it was all a test, you guys could have gone right to the big boss. Or spent your levels doing other things.
Yeah.
Like leveling up, doing other things that are more important that
Like-
might help you in the fight. There is a possible out, but there's almost no way you would ever actually like know that.
I did not feel like the best course of action was to pursue them that hard.
Could have done less. You could have done less hard pursuing. If you guys,
I felt like there was more lore
probably would've done
stuff,
more
more world
more
building
lore
and
inside
stuff.
story. There was more stuff that could have happened. You could have, after the Battle of Synthesis, like closed a portal, then went back to Synthesis, because that was a fully open thread until Roselle. And there was actually a way. There was an encounter I had set up if you guys wanted to go back to Synthesis and try and stop anything bad from happening. Like, there was that option, but the thing is, and this is probably a flaw in the way I built the NPCs, but their one drive at that point in the story is to stop the shadow. So as far as their suggestions go, they want you to close the portals. Now, you're the heroes. You could go off and say, well, let's do this first, then we'll go do the portals. It could give us some good, combat experience or diplomatic experience or whatever like that.
Yep.
You could do that, but like I said, it could be a flaw in the NPCs, but they do, at that point, their number one drive is to stop
Well, no,
the
we
shadow.
had many choices.
Yeah,
We had one player that really wanted to pursue that,
Yeah.
and that's
You
the
guys
player that left. So like the rest of us, like at many points, were like, hey, maybe we should go the other way, and every time we went the other way.
There was definitely more backstory to Rosellen. There was more backstory to the mercenary group that attacked you in the inn, or didn't attack you, failed completely at attacking you in the inn in Brightwater. There's actually a reason that they failed completely that never got touched upon. There's there are many other threads of story that could have been pursued that I just kind of ended up canning because I feel like you guys just went down that main path, which I honestly, as a DM, I was like, okay, so that's what these guys want to do. They want to just go down the center path, and then I could do that for you. But my initial plan was to, after you closed, it was before the Silent Hill portal, I was going to break it up and do more side story stuff, then do the Silent Hill portal and the other portal, and then go fight the Shadow. But then it just felt like, to me, I felt like anytime anyone looked into the book of memories, they never got what they wanted. There was just a lot of stuff that just wasn't going.
Well, it was under lock and key. It wasn't really fully accessible to us.
Yeah, until that one time where you guys had like a group session read it, and then you kept getting the same vision, and then it was like, well, we probably shouldn't be just trying to kill ourselves here on this book.
Well, it's like, as soon as it happened 3 times, I was like, okay. Because what I was wondering is if there was ranges. Was it a yes, no, or was it ranges? And
as far as the fail goes, every time you succeed, the DC increases. I actually had a note for if you had succeeded.
Yeah. But like,
that's how it goes.
I thought like maybe there was a reason to try, but after 3 people tried and we all got the same thing.
Yeah, maybe you would get more. But yeah, because it's a sentient being that also isn't a nice sentient being, it will just keep showing you that one thing, and it'll wait to give you more information. Like, it's not on your side. It's just a tool you're using, and it's just not. It just wants you. It just wants to absorb you, essentially.
Yep. But yeah, that was locked in a backpack.
That was locked away. It happens. We still ended up getting there.
We got there.
And now we're gonna, like I said, we have like 7 months to just kind of slow it down. We have the ability to slow it down. Now, if we end up slowing it down too much, I will be open for suggestion. If we're like, hey, let's just finish this up. We're doing great. Like, I have all the information I need. I'll do that, and we'll kick it up, and we'll do it a little bit shorter. It won't be the full 7 months, but like, I'm planning on just like We're taking a step back. We're going to have campfire time again. We're going to have all that kind of stuff. We're going to take a step back. I'll let everyone know that we're still a good chunk of the campaign left because I got to get you guys to higher levels before you face Asmodean. And 13 and 14 take a while to get. And we're just going to take a breath.
This is
We're gonna
quite
do-
literally a Rocky training montage.
Exactly. And you're going to take a breath. We're going to step back. I mean, every portal I kind of want to run as a 2-shot almost. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a lot of those just like, and in between we'll have some nice like, we're just take a breath. I'm just going to step back. Because I feel like we have been on a bit of a rail for a little while. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like giving my players options, and it is partially on me. I think I read the room wrong. I read the room as we're ready to go. Let's go.
Well, no,
when I feel like they're definitely.
We agreed to it, but like,
I feel like if I had some more options open, potentially maybe we would have split a little bit more.
I don't think
And
so.
if I had pushed it maybe more, but I didn't want to influence the group too much.
The only people willing to split the party were the ones was the direction that we went. So like it was like, well, we're not really willing to split the party, so we'll go this way.
But now here we are.
But that's fine. Like I don't care that much. Like there's a story this way. I'll keep going.
There was always
like,
that was the main story.
I don't get hung up on things like that. There was stuff this way, there was stuff this way. Okay, we didn't go do that stuff, but you know, there was stuff there.
It's true. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks also because I get to have some fun with some stuff. We get to get back into the homebrew characters. We get to do some fun, wacky worlds. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to kind of give a bit of an idea of what the end of time is going to be because all of these worlds are going to be on a singular plane. It's not going to be like all like I already actually have the beginnings of the big bad for the next campaign pretty much good to go. He's there.
All of a sudden people move in 4 dimensions, is that what you're saying? So they can just jump between
Imagine the United States, but every state is a different world. So you don't jump in 4 dimensions. You just go across the border and you're in
Oh.
Super Metroid or something like that. Whatever.
Huh.
That's the end of time. It takes it all and it shoves it into a singular plane. And it becomes one gigantic not wasteland, but area, like one gigantic plane of existence. Which is why, some people die is because only some of each world can go into this plane. There are parts that are physically just erased from existence.
Oh yeah, we get to pick the 33% of people that are gonna live.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of aptitude test we're gonna make them take.
Yeah, I like to give that. I enjoyed the fact that I've given my players the fact that they get to choose who dies now.
Oh
They have
yeah.
to come up with a method.
As soon as we get that hourglass, there's going to be... It's going to be a government department. The department of who the hell are we keeping? And we're going to be on the board. Every week we're going to make decisions that were hard to make.
Once you get everything figured out in the ley lines and the hourglass, you also get to figure out how strict you want to either ban or keep magic in certain areas. There's a lot of different things.
No, I think I'd say leave the world as it is. This is how much time we have left. These are the people we're keeping because we also want people to be good with magic when all the planes are shifted together and we have to fight other people who probably know magic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the scary thing of the end of time. And what the Shadow hated the most about it is because depending on when it triggers, certain planes do have a little bit more room.
Yeah.
So he was shooting for almost no hell, almost no abyss. And And that's kind of exactly what they focused on. But yeah, there's going to be warring no matter what happens, because now you're from an entire world to now a percentage of world and a percentage of your people. And then the next campaign will take place like a certain amount of time after that. It'll be great.
Interesting.
Do you want to go over a couple of download topics I threw in there? Or do you want to keep on talking about D&D? Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we could be done like whenever we want at this point. So let's just talk about D&D till we're done.
Sure.
We're only like 5 minutes away from our legally obligated time
Legally
slot.
obligated time? Nice.
Yeah, it's part of Canadian law now that this show happens.
I want to be part of Canadian law.
We'll pass any law. Just submit one. We won't say we're not that bad.
We're gonna replace all of your weapons with beavers. You have to ride moose.
Not just any
That's it.
beavers.
Those are the laws.
Assault beavers.
Yep. Yep. They bite a lot. When you throw a beaver, they just bite. It hurts. Beavers have powerful jaws, man. They go.
They come with a free beaver launcher.
Those teeth can gnaw at wood. Imagine what that would do to your body.
Yeah.
Scary times, man. Scary times. So, tell me about this government issued aptitude test that you're gonna propose.
Oh, that I'm gonna propose.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be like an aptitude test, but I feel like we're gonna make sure that we have enough people with certain skill sets, and then after that, it's gonna be like, okay, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And then, we'll draw a hard line in the sand that maybe cold-blooded murderers shouldn't come. And then just
like, what if you're just a petty horse thief?
You wouldn't get out immediately, but like, we know how many people we get to keep, so the bar is going to keep getting retracted step by step. Maybe eventually that'll matter. Maybe it won't. Your best bet is to tell us the truth, because if we find out you lied, we'll kill you anyway.
I think, just based off of this, that we're going to have a full epilogue episode. I'm going to do an entire session of just epilogue.
That's what Dennis will try to mandate through phase.
Yeah. No, like, I'm going to 1000%. Yeah. I've decided that now. Asmodean is the last boss, but we're going to do an epilogue episode of just
Dennis
how
being the moral
ridiculous
compass
can
of the
we
new
get?
world.
Yeah. And that'll also help me write a lot of stuff down in that episode as far as what's going to happen. And then, like, roll some dice and figure out exactly what our layout is.
Because, like, you got to think, we got to come together and think of every possible skill set we can think of and ensure that we have at least one person who could teach that.
Yeah.
So, like, basically what we need is a government department that's doing that and then just sending us the cases where they can't decide.
That's true. That's all you need.
But, like, we need to write the handbook on how that works.
What's actually going to happen is where the hourglass is Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and we're just going to run that real quick from level 14 to 20.
In parallel?
Yeah. No, like, from the level 14 part all the way to the level 20.
That's what I mean.
No
like,
sense.
Like, you're going to wait.
You're gonna get zero lore about it beforehand. It's gonna make zero sense. But whatever level 14, level 20 section, we're running Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
We're gonna portal and portal until we get there from Waterdeep Dragon Heist. When we get to level 14, you'll just run that session the week after mine.
In theory, the Golden Keys campaign is canon in my End of Time world because Nim exists in both. And also that means that Descent into Avernus is also technically canon in another universe in this world. I was very close to making a mention when I introduced Nim about how he almost went on a journey to stop Tiamat from being resurrected, but 4 other heroes decided to pop up and do that instead. But I was like, we don't know if we're going to succeed yet, so I'm not going to say that. We could very much fail. The new group could very much fail.
Yep.
But yeah,
It's possible.
they're all interconnected. Multiverse. Done.
In Rise of Tiamat, if you go the wrong way, boy, do you fight Tiamat.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how easy it is to go the wrong way, because we will go the wrong way. If it is at all, if it is even like medium difficult to go the wrong way, we're going the wrong way.
How does it feel to play in a campaign that's never been on the rails?
I mean, like Waterdeep? Or Horde of the Dragon? What?
Even in Horde of the Dragon Queen, you're not really on the rails.
I feel like we haven't hit the point where we're just going from town to town yet. We were pretty much on the rails for that. We rescued Green Nest, we're told of the Cult of the Dragon camp. We do that, we come back, we're told to go back to the cave after that from Leosin. I feel like that was meant to be more of a you do this, this, and this, and then the travel was supposed to be the open part. Because I feel like it's been pretty not railroady in a bad way, but like railroading into trying to get you the base information you need.
Every time there was a decision to make, you guys have taken the one where they don't explain it.
In Horde of the Dragon Queen as well?
Yeah.
Oh, because we saved Leosin. Well, not saved, but we cut him down. There's no way they explained that because they didn't expect us to attempt to try and kill him. Still doesn't make any sense, but here we are.
Well, they're like, if they just unbind him, he'll run out with them begrudgingly. But like they
He also
don't
doesn't want to die. Yeah.
They don't have a story arc for these are your potential murderers. Now ask them for help.
Would Leosin have been in the cave afterwards?
No,
Does he live?
No, he would run out with you if you cut him down.
No. If we didn't cut him down, would he have been in the cave? Like, would he be alive?
He actually escapes and meets you back in town.
Oh crap! So he would have told us to go back to the cave anyway. He would have probably had a little more information, I guess.
Yeah, you would have done some downtime in the camp until he came back, actually.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then we had the entire unfortunate first session because someone knew Greenest, which, like, there's no way that you could, think about that ahead of time. Like, you're not going to think, oh, well, they know Greenest, so they can just go whichever direction they want. They know exactly what they're going to do. Like, you're not going to plan for that.
Yep.
I find it funny that they decided to make that a backstory, though, when it could so easily derail that first session.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was not good.
No.
Just another wizard's decision.
Waterdeep has not been on rails at all. Waterdeep's been...
Backwards.
Oh, God.
That is
We
back
destroyed that
asswards.
How does the Abyss technically isn't on rails? You guys could have technically...
It does not feel like it's on rails. Well, I mean, I think once you go down a path, you're going down a path.
You'll make the circle around the Dark Lake. So if you had one big decision, if you guys had not gone back to Sloopladop to get a boat, you would have ended up in Blingdenstone first, and then in Blingdenstone last. So you would have ended up in Blingdenstone first and last. You would have gotten some tasks. Possibly, I might have tried to push you guys to all of the oozes so that you could get the information to go to Gracklestug and Neverlight Grove, if you had done that. But you would have gone there first and last. I would have probably made some indication that the Deep Gnomes would have been a little bit more in the earlier stage of rebuilding, and they might have warned you away as opposed to asked you to go to Rockblight at that point, because they would have noticed you're more fledgling adventurers. You could have gotten basic gear from them as well, specific basic gear. Like, you knew that they had all that specific basic gear.
Yeah, but like had we gone there first, that would have been a big deal.
Yeah, so that would have completely. So what would have happened is you would have gone to Blingden Stone, and then you would have, in some way, found out that you would have gone to Neverlight Grove for the acid coat or the acid resistant weapon, and Gracklestug for the artillery. You also would have heard that Gracklestug had a potential route to the surface, because you didn't go down that route because you ended up leaving, and also that doesn't really go anywhere. That kind of dead ends.
And we might still have Galtorin.
You might still have Galtorin. Well, no. So I think the only time you would have not gotten a boat is if you had decided not to go back into Sloop Ladop. I think Galtorin would have probably died every way, because you would have gone to Sloop Ladop first. Pretty much every time. That's the decider. Do you go back in, risk a possible Demogorgon resurgence and get a boat, or do you say screw it? Because you guys actually were a little bit... The idea came up that we're just going to go around, we're not going to go for a boat, it's too dangerous, and then you guys went back to Sloop Ladop. If you had decided to just not take a boat, you would have gone to Blingden Stone first.
Yeah.
Snog would have been met somewhere else that wasn't on the like shores of Sloop Ladop, and then I don't know, Snog. I don't know how that would have played out, but you can. It does specifically say that all of these areas are not meant to be done in a specific way. The chapter layout is Sloop Ladop, Gracklestug, Neverlight Grove, Blingden Stone, but it does make a point. If the players for some reason are pushed towards one of the other settlements, that's totally okay. Just like read ahead and then decide if you want them to do all of the encounters in there and maybe die, or maybe like because they look less equipped, maybe someone won't.
God, you're lucky
Tell
we
them
didn't
about
go that way. Any of those other ways would have really sucked.
If you had gone Blingden Stone first, you would have probably dealt with the Spectre early. I would have warned you against Rock Blight. You would have maybe talked with the Were-Rats, and I would have tried to push you to looking at the uses just so that you could get the next part of the story. And then, yeah, that would have pushed you towards Neverlight Grove and Gracklestug. But it would have been a lot different. Like,
yeah.
I really want to know what your guys' thoughts are for Gracklestug. If it's not just Deathbreed that goes in. Like, what do you guys think is going to happen?
I'm pretty sure they're going to kill us or throw us in jail.
Well, not about Deathry. I mean, Deathry's fine.
Oh yeah, Deathry's fine. But the rest of them? They'll be executed for leaving the city. We were told not to do that.
They could try and smooth talk their way out of it.
Good luck.
Good luck. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. I still don't even know if everyone's going to make it to that, because you guys are not in a good spot right now and Neverlight Grove.
Yeah, no, that's really not good.
People are going insane.
Shrooms be to our dooms.
That's a great note to say. Rufus, you have anything else you want to say tonight?
No.
Okay.
I think that was pretty evident.
That was good. That was good. Good
That's the
ending.
last words I have.
Thank you all for stopping by. You're all awesome. We will see you here tomorrow for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Sunday for Horde of the Dragon Queen, and Tuesday for another one shot.
We're doing one shots in Horde of the Dragon Queen this week.
That's right. We're starting the one shot. Well, we have to finish up the cave first, but then we're doing one shots. We're starting the one shots in that, because that's how we're running Horde of the Dragon Queen. Because there's a big old, Rufus was saying, there's a big old spot where it just says run random encounters. Like a huge 1,000+ mile, is it?
Yeah,
Is it 1,000 miles?
it's 1,000 miles.
And it just says run random encounters every once in a while. And Rufus was like, I'm not a bad DM. I'm going to make these things one shots to make them more interesting. And here we are.
Like the Volo's Guide to Getting Murdered, this one shot's name also gives it away.
Are these one shots meant to be run in Horde of the Dragon Queen, or
no?
They're separate. Okay.
This one is not. I wasn't really able to find any that were.
Gotcha.
I feel like a lot of people just skip time straight to there.
Right. But I like the idea of it being more meaningful. Oh, my light went off. We're ending it.
Death.
Death.
Quick, somebody double tap him.
Cut the stream. Cut it. Cut it.